Okay, 2021 Spring Half-Term Assessment. We're going to go straight to question 2. You now need to refer to source A and source B for this question. The strange things that happen in both sources are different. Use details from both sources to write a summary of the different strange things that happen, 8 marks. So the first thing to do is to go to each source and find 2 different examples of strange things that are happening. Okay, I have just already done this to save time because these videos are only 5 minutes. And I'm going to talk about something from the first bit, which are these one ghostly thing, which is very obviously not real, which is happening because of natural causes. And then I'm going to choose one poltergeist strange thing, which are unexplained. And the 2 I've chosen are these. Here we go. Ghostly piano music scaring people living in an old house, and poltergeist activity like a bowl of oranges that rise, then the bowl shatters. Notice how I'm including a quote. You have to use a quote because the question asks you to use details. Details means a quote. They mean that's short for textual details. You will need to use quotes to include in your summary. Okay, so I've got 2 from source A. Now I need to compare them with 2 from source B. So I go to source B, and we've just only got 2 occurrences anyway. So the first one is when Mrs. D tells the writer about her experience of seeing the ghost of a little boy who's just died at the top of the stairs, looking fresh looking and perfectly healthy. The other strange thing is the same woman telling the same writer the story of 20 years later when she was looking after a child who'd been ill, helping with a child who'd been ill, and she saw the fire darkening and flickering by something that fluttered backwards and forwards for it, which we assume could be the spirit of, in fact, or move. I think actually that could be a better quote. Something that seemed to move in front of it. I'm just going to put that quote in because I think that quote, something that seemed to flutter or move. So we've got two quotes, 2 things, 2 strange events from each source, and I've included a quote for each. Now, when you write them up, the way to write them up is this. It's source A, statement from source A, plus quote, plus inference. Okay, and then compare to source B, statement, plus quote, plus inference. And ideally do this, make two paragraphs like this, ideally. If you just manage to compare one thing from each, then you should be able to get enough marks if you get the detail in. So this is how you write it. In source A, the writer describes some of the strange ghostly things examined by a ghost hunter, things like ghostly piano music which scared the residents of an old house. This event was easily explained by the finding of mouse droppings and teeth marks in the piano, and yet the writer chooses the word ghostly, which suggests that the music is scary and is somehow made by the supernatural. We need to compare it. In contrast, in source B rather, the writer describes events which are not so easy to explain. And then he gives a quote plus the inference.